Today on CBS 21's 21 Next, we are talking about an age-old prank with a little bit of new flavor and some possible criminal charges. So let's get to it. Remember Ding Dong Ditch used to run up, ring people's doorbell. This is kind of like that. It's a little worse though. There are kids that are running away after they kick on people's doors and they record themselves doing it. And Maxine Rose found out a little bit more about where this is happening and what's going on with this prank. So what did you find out today from police and just from talking to people in the community, Maxine?
Well, police say this is happening all over the country and that this trend started back in March 2024. But of course, as we can see, there is still happening even in our communities here. So we're currently in Lower Swatara Township right now, in a community that police are saying was quote unquote terrorized by. So that video is actually from the area that we are in. That was taken on Sunday morning, or I guess captured Sunday morning in the early hours, 2, 3 a.m. And those kids are now essentially the subjects of an investigation that Lower Swatara police are looking into right now.
Wow. And I know that police were saying like people are thinking someone's trying to break into their home, because I would think that too. If I'm hearing a loud noise at 2 or 3 a.m., I'm thinking something's not right. So
Right.
what kind of charges, if these kids, it appears they're under 18, right? We've blurred their faces just for privacy reasons, but what kind of charges could these kids face if they end up being caught with this?
Right. And of course, it is important to add that police do have leads on these individuals, but
Okay.
they have not been caught at this point, which is why, again, we are blurring their face, as you said, Candace. But we know that the charges they could potentially face include felony burglary and criminal mischief. That's, if is damage actually done to the doors. We know that in other cases across the country, damage actually has been done. So that is why, they are saying that is a potential charge if that were to happen around here. We know that curfew is also another possible charge, right? These are juveniles, these are young kids, likely, police say under the age of 18, out at 2.
Looks like teenagers.
Yeah. And so those are just a few, but there's, you can see on our website there, we have everything that we've heard from police after they put a crime watch up. And we'll have much more, of course, after our reporting
So I also heard too that in other states in the nation, there have been 2 people who have been killed doing this, probably because the homeowners decided to defend themselves from somebody trying to break into their home. It appeared.
Right.
And so police are saying what? They're just trying to make sure everybody stays safe in this kind of situation.
Yeah, exactly. Going back to what you were saying about the loud noises, right? Think about even now when you answer your door and after someone has knocked, right? There are people now who say, I will not answer my door because anybody could be there. If they need me, call me, right? We have some people who are like that. And that's why people get Ring cameras, so that they really see who's out there, if they're not home or if they're just their kids are home or so on and so forth, right? So when it's a literal foot punching into your door, you can imagine, the startle that you get from just a knock at the door. How about a foot
Right.
your door with enough force to potentially knock it down or damage your door? So
Right. Destruction of property.
Destruction of property. And I forgot where we were going with this.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I know some people in the community are saying like kids be kids. Other people are saying like, no, like there should be consequences to this kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because it's just so scary. You just don't know whether they actually could be someone who's trying to get in, especially at that hour too.
Right.
So, people are just being told to stay aware. If you have a doorbell camera, to record that and bring that to police, call police right away. So, these are very serious charges. This is not just a game of ding dong ditch, which I believe the chief had told me today is also just illegal in itself.
I remember yelling at some kids when my daughter was a newborn because I was trying to get her to sleep and these kids kept ringing the door and I like went outside and yelled at them. I was like, I'm trying to get my child to sleep. Stop ringing my doorbell. Cause I was like, you know, a postpartum mom trying to get my baby to sleep. So I can only imagine like who knows what's going on inside the walls of these 4 homes that these kids are going and kicking on in the middle of the night, the wee hours of the morning. You just don't know how people are going to react. So for the kids' sake, if nothing else, they need to stay away from it.
Right. Because, you know, also with that fear of, you know, anyone knocking on your door in it to begin with, right? People are coming out and defending themselves.
Sure.
And so, yeah, to answer your question before, you know, there is a question of not only protecting the kids from getting harmed, but, you know, also from the homeowner getting themselves in a situation and vice versa. Like it just is a bad situation for everyone. Nobody wants to see a kid get injured or killed. And, you know, over a viral TikTok trend.
Yeah. And if nothing else, it's like a good reminder for parents to just sit down and be like, what are the trends right now on TikTok? Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Because chances are too, these kids could be sneaking out at night, you know, like that happens too. We were all teenagers. Some kids sneak out in the middle of the night. You don't know what they're up to. They could be kicking on people's doors. So it's a good reminder for parents too, to just have that conversation since it is nationwide. And now we're seeing it in our backyard.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is not going to be a warning. I mean, the police tell me they're
serious
stuff. Yeah. So once those kids are identified, you know, the next steps will be taken.
Charges.
Kind of sends out a message to other kids in the area that this is not going to be tolerated.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to hearing what some people who live in that community too are saying. I know we'll hear from you on our news at 5 and 6 o'clock tonight. So we'll talk a little bit more about that then. I'll let you go now because we have to get ready for our newscast starting at 5. But yeah, really interesting video. Interesting because the kids are filming it too. So, you know, it's probably related to some kind of social media upload. As you can see, that person has the camera in their hand and then they're running away and they're in groups too. So.
And that's the interesting part too. I mean, you're literally recording yourself breaking the law. And then so that's
something that might seem innocent isn't actually that innocent.
Right. And we've reported similar, you know, kinds of cases before, people thinking, oh, well, it's the trend. And, you know, that could actually get you in some real big trouble. So.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Maxine, thanks for looking into that. Thanks for getting the police information too. So we know like potential charges and stuff like that if this does come down to them finding out who did this. So appreciate your time. Thank you guys for joining us today and we'll see you next time for 21 Next.